Good morning, I'm Tom Gaschler and I'm from Imperial, Nebraska. We're here in McCook this morning. One of the things we looked at today was soil temperature. This morning the soil temperature in Imperial was 54 degrees, while here at McCook it was 56 degrees. If you look at the soil temperature from the panhandle of Nebraska yesterday afternoon at 3 p.m., it was also 56 degrees, while in the morning at Imperial it was 48 degrees. The soil temperature tends to follow the daily highs and lows, and so the temperature that was reported from Bushnell, Nebraska yesterday afternoon is higher just because it was read mid-afternoon. Ideally, you want to take the soil temperature at 7 a.m. instead of mid-afternoon. The other thing is you want to take the soil temperature reading at the 4-inch depth below the soil surface and not at the 2-inch depth. Most soil probes are designed to take the soil temperature at the 4-inch depth. Wheat starts its green up when soil temperatures are 40 degrees. Corn will actively grow when the soil temperature is at 50 degrees or warmer. One of the things we took a look at today was a wheat field east of McCook.
This field of wheat that we went to this morning, Tom Gaschler, Wes McCollam, Brock Rogers and I, was planted about the 5th of September. It was planted way too early. A lot of nitrogen on it last fall, and looks like plant has now aborted about 13 tillers, and there's still 10 tillers left per plant. The root system is really struggling from lack of moisture, and they've also applied a herbicide this spring, and you can see the curl and the kink to the joining. The joints are buckled from the injury from the herbicide. This is, I guess, a lesson in what not to do today. This plant, we looked at, we stripped the leaf down, or stripped one of these stems down, and the head development and the two joints below it, we're talking somewhere close to probably 10 days to 2 weeks before this plant could actually be in the boot stage. And the middle of April is way too early to be talking 2 weeks out of boot. The 1st of May in the boot stage, we don't really need that. We could get an early, a late freeze and do a lot of damage to this plant. Guys, that's why we stress the timing of planting and the fertility and the time trying to manage tillers. With 10 tillers left on this plant, with this little root system developed, we can't sustain the 10 that's there, so it's going to end up aborting more. It's probably this one's going to go. There's several more tillers going to go. So why use all of our moisture and fertility to create straw? Because that's all you've done. These tillers that die, they've just become straw and residue.
The final thing I want to discuss this morning is freeze injury to wheat. At the tiller stage, 12 degrees for 2 hours or longer will damage the tillers, damage the leaf tissue on the tillers. At joint stage, temperatures of 24 degrees for 2 hours or longer will damage the stem. At the boot stage, temperatures of 28 degrees for 2 hours or longer will potentially damage the head as well as the stem and foliage. At heading and at flowering, temperatures of 30 degrees for 2 hours or longer will damage the head and the pollination process, as well as anthers. So ideally we want to try and reduce the chances of frost injury to wheat. And part of this is planting at a later date and having the plant develop at pollination time a little bit later in the springtime. The field that we saw here east of McCook shows that we don't want to have that head coming out when we still have the potential of frost.